My Moment of Change by Jenny Zoe. My life as a child was nothing compared to now. When my parents immigrated to Canada, they had to start from scratch. They had no money and no job in the beginning. Despite this, they would still pay for my art lessons because they knew how much I loved to paint and draw, and they also let me train competitively for badminton. As a child, I was naive and I had no idea what situation my parents were in. I was rather greedy. I always wanted to buy things that I liked, and if I didn't get my own way, I would cry until I did. Back then, I never thought my parents cared about me because of the pressure they put on me in school. They would yell at me every night when I got home because I didn't get perfect on a test. But one night changed everything. It was May 2008. My mom was working at home, my brother and I were peacefully watching TV, while my dad was working 3 jobs to try and pay the rent for our small one-bedroom apartment. "I'm hungry," my brother yelled, as always. My mom said she was busy, but my brother kept complaining. So she decided to cook us fried rice. She went to the kitchen, filled the pan with oil, and kept the heat on high. Then, a piercing ring of the telephone broke the peacefulness, and my mom went to pick it up. It was her childhood friend, and she seemed excited to talk to her. It was peaceful again as she left the room to talk to her friend. My brother and I were quietly watching the black and white TV screen, until we suddenly heard a deafening boom. I froze. My brother started crying. Smoke filled the room. The fire alarm was roaring louder than I've ever heard before. I immediately ran to my mom to tell her that there was a fire. Seeing the sweat and fear in her eyes, she rushed to the washroom to find a tiny pot and filled it with water to try and extinguish the fire. She splashed it on the fire. No help. It only made it worse. Her entire face was covered in ashes, and I felt so helpless just watching. Luckily, the firemen broke into the room, asked if everyone was okay, and then told us to evacuate the place immediately. My mom took us downstairs to the ambulance, where she was given an inhaler because she was short of breath from all the fumes that she inhaled. We ended up sleeping at our family friend's place, and that night I couldn't sleep. As I tiptoed silently to my parents' room, I overheard my mom crying to my dad, asking him how they were going to pay for the debt, how they were going to support me and my brother, and what they were going to do now. And that's when I realized that they cared about me a lot. They wanted the best for me despite having nothing. They pressured me to do well in school because they didn't want me to end up in their situation. I learned to be grateful of my parents, to love them, and to be with them whenever I have the chance, because you never know what could happen. I could have lost my mom that night, and everything would have been different. I've changed a lot from this experience. I work harder in school. I'm more grateful for all the things that they've given me, and I even paint a picture every year for my parents on their birthdays to remind them and show them how much I appreciate what they've done for me, especially paying for those painting lessons. We now live in an amazing house with a wall full of my paintings. These paintings mean a lot to me. They bring back the memories of the first time my parents gleamed with joy and pride after seeing my talent. When I look at them, they remind me of how calm and safe I feel with my parents, and they help me deal with a lot of stress at times. I'm happy for such an amazing family, and I could honestly never ask for anything more. The end.